Hi, and welcome back to another episode of JanisLamb's and Everyday Chaos. We are doing the documentary series, the ones you did not ask for by getting anyway, because there is a higher purpose to all of it and how all things are connected, and we do talk about God here. If so, um, if you're not interested, just scroll along. I really don't care. That's up to you. But we are digging into the deeper stuff. The last episode, we got to the point where we now get to talk about the beer can incident. So, here we go. So, my husband had met some friends, and we all became friends through farming. And we went everywhere with these people. Like, we hung out all the time. We went to their river house when they bought one. And then, so it's like their vacation home. And then that's actually where the incident happened. Um, and we've gone to Mexico with them. We've gone on trips. We've gone camping, go ride razors and quads and all that stuff with our kids, and just like got really close. Thought we were friends. But you were only after my husband, so interesting. So there were a few times too that you started a lot of fights in our marriage. Just so you know. I'm sure you did know. That was probably part of your game. But anyway, so we're at their house, their river house, and actually, when we were driving there, my husband had mentioned, if like we get all toast club and like super drunk, it's okay if we like swing with them and stuff, because because you have a crush on the wife. Of course you do, because it's your best friend, and of course you have a crush on his wife, because apparently you have crushes and wanting to fuck everybody's wife. Yeah, of course. Um, I know that was petty of me. Listen, sometimes anger's got to come out. I can't hold that in, okay? Sheesh. You didn't want to look bad. You should have done what you done. Should have done what you done. You're worried about looking bad. Anyway, so this particular trip, that's how it started. And he's zipping through and about to kill us on all the turns because he's flying down. Can't wait to get there. And so we're having a good old time. I just kind of put that thought past us. I was like, listen, I'm not into it. You knock that shit off. No, knock it off. And he's like, okay, I'm like, I'm being serious. Try something here. We're done. Okay, we're done. Fucking warn him. Okay, so anyway, we are having a good time. It's only like a weekend trip. It's for the actual tube float, the mega annual one that they do over in Parker, Arizona. And so the day that we're supposed to leave, the night before, this is all that I remember of this actual rest of the time. Like, I just remember the drive there, the talk, and then I don't really remember everything else. It was kind of a blur. And then I remember the plan that we had the night before, and then a little bit before the accident, and then only thing at the accident is all I remember of that trip. So we decided the night before that we're going to clean everything, pack everything up. That way the next day we can do one more float, like go get breakfast and do one more float. And then come back and we can just load up and go. We wouldn't have to worry about cleaning and blah, blah, blah. Because she also rents this house out for vacationers and stuff. So we wanted it to just be clean. And then we decided that was the plan. I actually don't remember doing anything I don't even remember getting ready. I just remember that I was walking out of the bathroom of the restaurant that we were eating at, and clearly we just ate, because when I came back towards the table, my husband's sitting there, he's waiting on me, and like I literally don't even remember ordering anything or eating. I just remember coming out of the bathroom, and I walked by him, and clearly we ate because there's food shrapnel everywhere, and I said, I'm gonna get my mudslide, because they had Snickers in their mudslide that day. They blended Snickers up into their mudslide. Delicious, okay? And so I just remember I was walking over there. I don't even remember purchasing it. I just remember it's now in my hand, and we're walking onto the boat, and then we drive where we want to drive, so that you park up at the end of the river so that you can float down with the current. And sometimes you have to move your boat out of the way of rocks or other boaters or whatever. And so we decided that we're going to get in the water, me and my husband. We're going to get in the water and float around. And we put our life jackets on upside down so they look like diapers because you bobble your head above the water better. And I had my drink in my hand and it doesn't have a lid. So, like, it's easier for me to go sippy sip, right? So I have my drink. We're tied to a rope. We're in the water. We're having a good old time, relaxing. This is our last bit of a float before we have to go home to reality, okay? And I'm taking my drink. My friend, my so-called friend, she's up in the boat. And she's like, hey, do you want another drink? And I was like, no, I'm good. I got mine. And then someone had a jet ski and he like kind of drove by. It wasn't a huge wave, but it made a wave big enough that I had to kind of like, river water. I don't want that in my drink. And so like and I no longer am facing her. So I don't see that she's still through the can anyway, and it hit me in the head right here. I got a nice old dent now. Um, it hit so hard that I didn't feel it. I just remember hearing the can hit. It sounded like a shotgun. Then a shotgun sound went off again, and I was floating above, and my ex was there, and I was walking towards him. Everyone's all wearing white, and he's like, he looks back and goes, no, it's not time, and he pushes me. At least he looks like my ex. Could have been anybody else, but that was the face that I saw. And so like so he pushes, right? And I'm falling, and as I'm falling I can see me and my so-called husband in the water, and he's shaking me and going, Jan, and I like fall back down into the water, and it was like this, the darkness lifted, the sun turned back on, like everything was fine. And I look at him and I'm like, and I start panicking. And I'm like, Daniel, where are you? And I'm like freaking out, trying to find him, because that's who just pushed me. Like, where am I? How am I in water? This doesn't make sense. Who the fuck are you? And my husband's like, hey, I'm your husband, me, Preston, I'm right here. And I was like, I don't know you. Like, who the, why am I in water? Where am I? Where is he? Where's Daniel? Where is he? And like freaking out. And he looks at me and he gave me this really weird look. And he's like, oh my gosh, look, come on, I think we need to get on the boat. Let's go get on the boat, okay? So we climb up onto the boat. It was one of those pontoon boats with a ladder. And so like he helps me out of my life jacket, and then I'm just kind of standing there. He went to go get me a towel, but then he stopped and was talking to my so-called friend who threw the beer can. And this other girl who was with us, she was like, oh my gosh, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Come sit with me. It's going to be okay. So I start to walk over to her. Then my legs like buckled and was like, I don't feel my legs. And I fell because my legs weren't working. So I fell. And she's looking at me and she's like starting to freak out. And now all of a sudden there's two of her. I'm seeing double now. There's two of her, and she's starting to freak out. She's crying. She's like, I don't have my phone. I left it back at the house. I need a phone. Someone give me a phone. We need to call 911. We need to call the ambulance. We need to get her out of here. And my so-called friend, I look over at them, and there's two of them too. Like, whoa, and I'm seeing stars, and there's two everybody, and it's getting crazy up in here. I don't feel my legs, and everything's weird. What's happening? Like, I'm getting weird. And she's like, no, we can't take her to the hospital. We can't take her to the hospital because if we take her to the hospital, I'll go to jail because it'll be considered an assault. And they'll put me in questioning. If I go in questioning, they'll search my phone. If they search my phone, they'll see the things between me and you, and they'll think I did it on purpose. And then it was like this humming, and I went deaf. And then if you take both your hands and you put them up, and you see only a tiny little hole of a little white light out of that little tiny hole. That's all I saw. It's called tunnel vision, by the way, tunnel vision. And then the next thing you know, I'm having an outer body experience. I'm standing behind myself. We're in their kitchen, and I'm at this end of the table, and I can see her and my husband talking, but I can't hear what's going on. And her husband was like pacing back and forth. Like, looking back, I know who everybody was because I know who they were, but in that moment, I didn't recognize anybody. And I was standing behind myself, and I was literally like slumped over in the chair. And I just was like, hey! And they can't hear me. And I'm yelling, like, hey, what are we going to do about this? Right? Like, I'm freaking out. And they can't hear me because I'm a ghost. So, like, they can't hear me. And then I don't remember even getting in the truck. I don't remember anything else. Just all of a sudden, I woke up and we were home. I was in my bed, but it didn't make sense because we were just in the water. So how are we home? What's going on? And I'm looking out the window and I'm like, it's light. Like, no, because we were supposed to leave by 1. And so, like, it should be nighttime right now. It should be dark. And it wasn't. And so, like, I started freaking out and I went out to the kitchen. He was cooking bacon. And I was already like in my own conversation of like trying to figure this out. And so it probably came off super confusing. And I was like, it should be like dark outside. It's light out right now. It doesn't make sense. And we were just in the water. So like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, what? And I'm like, what time did we get home from the river? He's all, sorry, I got to watch my hawks and my chickens. Where are my chickens? Okay, the hawks are out, girls. Be like that one lady. Hawk! They are out there. They're both out there. I got to be on hawk duty. Okay. Anyway, so I'm freaking out, trying to figure out why it's not dark right now. How are we home? And he was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What time? We've been home all day. And I'm like, no, from the river. How are we home right now? Like, how did we get back from the river? I don't remember coming home. And he was like, we've been home from the river for 3 days. What do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean 3 days? He's like, yeah, you've just been asleep for 3 days. And I've been asleep. He's like, oh my gosh, the beer can in your head. And I was like, time out. I've been asleep for 3 days because of a beer can to my head. And so then I like feel my head and it's seriously all bruised. And then I felt the dent and I just was like, it feels like a baseball bat hit me. Like, what'd the doctor say? He's like, well, we didn't take you to the doctor. I was like, what do you mean you didn't take me to the doctor? Hold on. I've been asleep for 3 days and you didn't think to call 911? So I've been in a fucking coma for 3 days? That's called a coma. When someone doesn't wake up and doesn't move, it's a coma. Your sister's married to a neuro guy, okay? She's also a nurse. A kid falls, they go in. And at this point, I'm starting to feel a headache come on. And I'm starting to feel dizzy. And I'm like, and I'm looking over at the ice machine. And I'm like, ice. I need ice. And I'm gonna, stuttering. I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna go figure this out. But it wasn't coming out like that. It was just amana. And so I went into my room, and that was when, oh man, the pain just went. It felt like someone took a freaking knife and just went over and over and over and over. And all you can do is just grab your face and roll around in agony on your bed, crying. And then boom, shotgun sound, boom, shotgun sound, and it flashback, all the flashback, boom, shotgun sound, flashback, boom, shotgun sound, flashback, just over and over and over. It lasted like 5-7 minutes. And then this would happen randomly throughout the day. I would get struck with a migraine. And you know what? It would be really weird. I would feel it like up at the back of my neck and just kind of crawl up. And I'm like, I'm going to go. I don't want to feel it, right? So I didn't want to feel it. So I would go outside and I'd smoke some weed. And then I would go and, because I don't like taking Tylenol and stuff like that. It doesn't actually work, for me anyway. So I just use herbs. So I went and hid in my closet because it's really dark, and I put my Native American drum music on because for some reason the drums, and that's probably just because of my roots, the drums just like calm me down. Just, and I need a dark place because lights hurt your eyes and everything just gets loud and it just gets intense. So drum beats in a dark place. But this happened frequently, and sometimes what would happen, this went on for like 6 months before I went and got help. Went and got checked out. So like, and this happened at the store, but sometimes I would just be doing my day-to-day things, just chores, and all of a sudden my whole body would stiff up and just start shaking, and it was like I was stuck. I couldn't move. I didn't like fall, I didn't get dizzy, nothing else, just I would just be stuck. A couple times I had my kids that were, I'm like, hey, pull me or push me or something, I'm stuck. And they would, and then I'd like unstick. I'm like, thanks. That was weird. I need to go meditate. I'll be right back. And this is also around the time where I would be waking up at 3 a.m. every day, and I didn't really know how to cope with it. So honestly, I would just go outside and smoke some weed and then go and take a bath and cry. I just cried. That lasted for like 2 years. A year later is when I got the whiplashes. So we'll get into that story in a second. But so all that stuff was happening, and when it happened at the store, I could feel it come on. I was loading up. It was at Winco, and I was loading up the groceries because I just paid, and I'm almost done. And someone else comes over on the other side, and I'm like, oh crap, they're gonna notice. Go faster. I don't want someone to like freak out and see me shaking like this, and then we end up like, will you pull me? Like, you know how embarrassing that would be? No, I'm good. I don't want to do that. So I'm like trying to go as fast as I can to see if I can just get around me shaking. And hang on, I gotta check the time. It's almost medicine time. For Levi, it's like 5 times a day. He has to take different medicines for the seizures. So anyway, he, and I do talk about that. He does have seizures. I think I just didn't mention over that. We talked about the surgery. Anyway, so we I was there trying to get all the groceries in fast, and it was starting to come on, and like I quickly got out of there and I had to quickly get into my truck and throw everything. I just ended up throwing it. I just started chucking the groceries into the truck. It wasn't getting in there neat, and I like it neat, but I was like, F this, like go, go, go. I got in, I hurried up, turned on the car, and I'm already starting to shake. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, hurry, get the drum music, hurry, get the drum music. And my hands like going like this. I'm like, hurry, quick, quick, quick. And so then, I got the drum music on, it's playing, I'm blasting it, and I'm like, okay, I can finally calm down, And then I did, and then I was able to drive home, and I made a phone call to my uncle. And then I started to kind of freak out, like, I don't want to talk about it because then I'm going to have to, like, because he told me to talk to his son, my cousin, because he deals with cognitive dissonance. He thinks that I suffer from cognitive dissonance or something. And he's like, but he can totally help you with that, and definitely like try to look into a therapy, even if it's marriage counseling or blah 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 blah. And like sometimes even if it's a healthy relationship, it's good to have counseling. It's good because it just keeps you guys going and not having bitter feelings or hard things, because life sometimes gets in the way. And he was really talking me into it, and I was just like, I really don't want to, because then I'd have to tell everything, which now all of you know all of everything, and that was what I was scared to talk about. And now here I am talking to you. Funny. So I, like, me and God have worked all of this out. That's who my therapist is God. He's just been shown too many times in my life that I can't not believe in his existence. Like, seriously. So yeah. Just kind of crazy. Lots of different things. We're going to speed this up a little bit. We're going to get into the second head injury, because that was the first one, the beer can. And then the second one was my fault for not going to the doctor soon enough, because there was no way I was going to wear a neck brace. No. That would be like living in claustrophobia hell. I'm good. No, thank you. It was a banana tube incident. Remember how I told you about bananas? I did, right? Yeah. So We did a kid ride all day, and my husband had to work, so it was just me and the kids and my aunt and uncle and my cousin and some other people. And so like the kids all had their turn, and it's like toward the end, and we all wanted to get dunked because it was hot, and a storm was actually rolling in that day, and we all wanted to go in and get thrown in. We're like, okay, I kind of want to get thrown in. And then I was like, yeah, but because I'm telling my aunt, and I was like, I don't want to get like hurt though, but I want to get hurled. And she's like, yeah, but I kind of want to get a little hurt. I don't really want to go to work tomorrow. She's like, I'm kidding, but like, I'm not. She was totally kidding. She loves working. But so I was like, well, just don't say anything to the driver like you like to do, because you know how he works, okay? I don't want to get hurt, all right? And she's like, you know what? You're being a sissy lala, and I'm over that. So she says something, and it pisses him off. And do you know what? He's doing circles and circles, and the waves are getting huge and huge. And I was determined I was not coming off. So I laid on my stomach, and I straddled the whole banana, and I tucked my knees, and I tucked my feet into the side bendy things. They're your foot holders or whatever, and I tucked it into the edges, into the wedges of it. And then I was laying for it, and I was holding on to dear life. I was determined that even if this thing flipped over and drags me, I am not coming off. And then I came off. So we hit and we launched. And then I saw as I'm coming down, I'm like, I'm going to face plant. That's going to hurt. No, thank you. And so I twisted in the air. So my legs, okay, my head. So I bent in. Now this is my shoulder. So I bent my head in so that my head didn't hit, because I can't have another head under you, huh? Matai. So I'm tucking it in my back. My shoulders take the blunt of it, and it felt like I dropped from a 5-story building onto cement. You know when you're chucking rocks and it goes thunk, 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 thunk? That's what my body said, okay? And so I'm like, in each little each little skid, my neck and my head were just like boom, and then whip up, and everything would rip. The whole thing. I ripped all the back. I ripped my back muscles. I ripped everything. And then the second we get back on, I shake it off, we get back on. The second fall, we all collided in a ball together, and I thought I was going to lose my eye, and because my aunt's finger went like this, and then I refractured my pubic bone. And yeah, that was real fun, because I didn't know that my cousin had collided into me. He hit his head on someone. He's like, I hit someone's bones. I don't know where, I don't know who, but my head hurts. And I didn't even notice that because I was so concerned about me losing an eye. Okay. I did the whole number of like, okay, 1, 2, 3, like thinking I'm going to catch it, Didn't have to catch it. My eye is fine. As you can see, it's still there. So let me shake that off. We get back on. And I did a repeat of the whiplash. And then I'm just laying there, and I'm looking up at the clouds. I started floating up to the clouds. I'm just like, oh, pretty clouds, just so pretty. And then I fell back down. I was like, okay, you know what? I don't need to do this shit anymore. I'm out. Like, I'm out. I'm good. I don't think I can handle one more of these. I think that if I have another one of these, I'm dead. I ain't coming back. I'm out. So I lifted up, instantly grabbed my neck. Instantly I knew I would need a neck brace. Tears rolling. You know when you get hit in the head, like you're not feeling emotions. Tears are just rolling because you're in pain, but you don't feel like the actual crying. You know when you get hit in the nose and just instant cries? It was like that. And then the boat's coming around, and I'm like, oh, splash your face. You ain't crying. Just get over it. Toughen up. Just go. Just swim. Just start swimming. So I went to go swim. Like, no, I can't. No, doggy paddle. Just doggy paddle. No, that hurts too. Kick, 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 kick. So I'm just like kicking it to the boat. I had to like seal myself up. Do you know what that means? Like fishing it up, sealing it up. You gotta like super kick your legs moving any of your top. Everything's stiffening up already. You can't move your neck or anything. And so, like, to get up onto there, you gotta, like, super kick your legs and, like, you know what I mean? Sealing it. You gotta be like a seal and just flabber up on there. It's freaking hard, all right? And I had to do that. It was hard. And so I didn't want to tell anybody because I wanted to go to the hospital because I don't want a neck brace. Should have just taken the neck brace. No, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I still think that I wouldn't be able to do it. I just don't think I could do it. Claustrophobic. I'm good. It's right around your breather. No, just no. So I didn't say anything. I was like, that hurt a little bit. And then I'm trying to get comfortable. We're trying to get back and we're trying to beat the storm. So we're trying to go fast and everything's getting windier and the storm's coming in and it's choppy and choppy. And so, like, every little bump is hurting everything. And so then my head feels like it's 1,000 pounds and, like, my neck is just going to snap. And, you know, I'm just trying to get comfortable and I'm, like, moving in my seat. And man's like, are you all right over there? And I'm like, yeah. I just got a little whiplash. And so I'm, like, getting up and I'm just like, I'm going to stand up. I'm just going to stand home. That's good though. I just got a little whiplash. Oh, you're going to feel that tomorrow. I'm like, and then all of a sudden, all I can think of, like, yeah, if you wake up. Because, you know, your brain touched the back of your skull. That's a third brain injury. I don't think you're going to survive. What if you don't wake up? And that's all I can think about the whole way home. And you know what? Back to the beach. Storm hits. Okay? We got to load everything up. We got to load all the kids. And it's not only raining, like, the hugest drops of rain you've ever seen. It's also hailing the hugest beads of hail ever. And you're just like, holy crap, you have to, like, lift something. This shoulder didn't hurt as bad as this shoulder when I had to lift up. It still was, like, really hard. I felt like I was stuck after a second. And so I had to lift, like, some kind of little card table over my head. And I was just like, okay, get in the truck, Justin. You help me with the kids. Keep them in there. It's getting too slippery. So thank you for your help. I'm just going to help them load up their stuff and we're going to get out of here. So then we go home. That all gets done. We go home and I got all the kids ready for bed. We ate dinner and stuff. And everyone's in bed. And now it's my turn to clean up. And I can't even lift my arms to wash my hair. So I'm just like, well, forget it. I'm just going to rinse today. Great. So then I had to get into bed. That was so hard because everything's stiffening up now in my neck. I can't even move it like this. Ready? Did you see my head move? No? It's because I couldn't. So I'm, like, trying to get comfortable to sit. I'm like, wait, I gotta stand back up and then sit back down, and I'm, like, making sure that measurement's right for when I lay down. So then first I'm like, no, can't move like that. Okay, we're gonna, no, we can't. Okay. Make sure you're scooted in more, and you're like this. Okay, all right. So then I hooked my feet underneath the bed, and I grabbed the sheets with this hand, and holding the microphone. So I grabbed the sheets. No, I grabbed the side of the bed with this hand, and I lifted my left because the left shoulder didn't hurt as bad as the right shoulder. So I lifted my hand up to hold the back of my head, just kind of like hold the weight of it, and everything else was abs as you're laying down, and then you just, like, fall into your pillow. Oh my god, it was the worst. And our TV's over in the corner, so I can't even turn my head to, like, look at the TV. I'm like, this is stupid. This sucks so much. And all of a sudden my tongue's starting to feel swollen. Y'all, I ripped my voice box. I ripped everything. I ripped it all. The next day, I did wake up and I needed help out of the bed because I caught on to it. If you wanted to talk to me, I had to move my whole body in a circle and go, yes, how can I help you? So fun. This one time I felt a zap. Oh my gosh. So I was able to get out of bed at this point, but I couldn't move my head. And I'm out of bed, I'm walking around, and I have to tell you a funny story too. So walking around, and I am making dinner, and luckily our oven is up, so I don't have to bend down. But like, I I was cooking chicken broccoli casserole because it's fast. You just throw it all in the pan, throw it in the oven, walk away. So I was making that, and I tilted my head just a little bit, and it freaked me out because it like sent a zap. I could feel it just. It didn't hurt. It wasn't painful. It did make me just have random tears though, and it hit me like the zap went up like it like when you rub your feet together with your friend and you like zap each other. It felt like that zap in the center of my brain, right in the center, and it like really freaked me out. And I was like, I need to go lay down because that was freaky, and I need to hurry this up. And I'm like, hey Jay, can you like get this out when the timer goes off? I need to go lay down. I don't feel good. So then I laid down, and it just like really freaked me out. Like I thought my head was gonna fall off my neck. It just felt like so weak, like it could have just, you know what I mean? Really freaked me out. Okay, so the funny story. The next day that I had woken up, Preston was eating some ice cream. He's like, "Do you want anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." And I can barely talk, right? So, because my voice box is just gone, it's like I ripped it. So, um, our friend had broke his nose by competing in a swimming pool. They were going to dive in. They didn't have goggles on. They were going to dive in and swim underneath water, not like on top, and just swim as fast as I could to one side and then as fast as I could to the next side without taking a breath of air. And he went to go like this, and I guess he landed, smacked the wall with his nose, and broke his nose. So he had just had surgery, and he's like just recovering at home, just chilling in his bed. And I'm chilling, just laying there, can't move. I'm in pain. And my husband just eating some ice cream or something like that. I think it was ice cream or cereal. And so he gets on, but he sounds like this, and I can't understand who this is, and I'm trying to figure it out. And then it dawned on me who it was. And I start to laugh, and I grab my throat because it hurts to laugh. And Preston looks over, and he like stares at me for a second. He's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like pointing at the phone. He goes, "Oh, you just figured out who I'm talking to." So then he's laughing. He's laughing really hard at this point. And so our friend asks, like, "What? What's so funny?" So he tells him. And so then our friend starts laughing. He's like, "Oh, don't make me laugh. I can't smile. It hurts my face." And I was like, I start laughing even more. And I was like, "Stop making me laugh." He's like, "What?" And Preston's like, "She said stop making me laugh." And he's like, How? It's like, "Because of her whiplash." He's like, "It was just a whiplash." And I'm like, so I say his name, and I'm like, "What do you talk with?" He's like, your voice. I'm like, "And what controls that?" Your voice box. I'm like, "Where is it?" He's like, "Oh." We were dying laughing. That was seriously the funniest ever. And we're crying laughing because it freaking hurts. It hurts. And it's funny. Oh, anyways, that was crazy. And then, COVID happened, and then I talked about the surgery. And he you know what? He had seizures since he was 5. They stopped for a while, and I've had him on CBD for a long time. I use Charlotte's Web for him. And just last year, no, the year before that, they started coming back. His seizures are lasting an hour and 45 minutes. And no one can tell me why. And I've tried keto. Keto's really hard because you have to eliminate a lot of stuff. And because I study Ayurvedic medicine, it's actually what my doctor says for me to study. So when I did seek help, my aunt suggested this lady. I'll tell you about that in a second. So he's now on CBD and Keppra. And we do it 5 times a day. So like twice for the Keppra. They have to be done at the same time every time. And same with the CBD. We do it at the same time every time too. That's 3 times a day though. But so we have to manage that and his shunt, and we have to make sure shunt malfunctions don't happen, which they have in the past when he was younger. And then he hasn't had a revision for a while, but we do still have to check on it all the time. Let's see. So I was gonna get help through my aunt had told me about a bunch of people going riding today. Fun. It is a nice day. We'll see. Take my sweatshirt off. It's actually hot. Looks so fun. They got the razors going. Okay, so um shoot. What was I saying? Okay, because I study Ayurvedic medicine, um we're now going to try that diet, which is funny because when they go over the list of the things to avoid, he actually already hates that stuff. That's hilarious. And it's for 3 different body types, and sometimes we have to mix them because sometimes um one thing can be more out of balance than this, but you're really this type. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. And I'll get into that one of these days too, because that's part of what I want to incorporate in the healthy living and the whole working out stuff. And we'll be doing yoga and other things like that too. That's all coming in the works, and I'm just working on making sure I have the right routines and all that stuff that I want you to do. And we'll get into all that. So I'm just trying to apply that with Levi now. So that's how we're managing. And he does have other doctors that help manage with stuff, but you know, we see them once a year. I am his doctor. I'm with him 24/7. I am his doctor. And so I have to know this stuff just to keep him alive, you know? So I would say, yes, I am very pushed and determined to continue studying medical stuff and things that I need to study just for the sake of keeping my son alive. And if that means that I can heal other people on the way, awesome. Cool. That's my calling anyway, so cool. So we will get into more stories and stuff like that. Oh, it was the doctor. So let me just tell you that. We started seeing her because my aunt suggested her. That's who she uses. She had a pituitary tumor and had to have surgery, and this lady had helped her, and my uncle, her husband, suffers MS. So they know her really well, and I love her. She's awesome. But she helped me through a lot of stuff. She's the one who told me to start studying Ayurveda medicine in the first place. And that happened because when Levi was doing his treatment, she told me, "Hey, come check this out. I want you to put your fingers right here, just these 3 fingers right here on his leg, and then you're gonna help pull down the energies." And I'm like, "All right." And my hand kind of touched her hand as she's letting off, and I'm putting on to his leg. And she like stepped back and was like, and this is when she brought out the book. She's like, oh my gosh, I need I need you to study stuff. I'll be right back. I have to go get some books. I never do this. I never do this, but you need to. And so she got the books. She's like, take a picture of these books. I need you to start studying these. This is your destiny. This is what you need to do. And I'm like, okay, but I can't actually go to that school. It's over in New Mexico, and I can't exactly leave my family, and that's like $30,000 to go do that. But I do have all the books, so that's what I study every morning, 3 a.m. until it's time to get everybody ready to go to school. So that's how I start my day. Me and God were studying, and that's how I got into it. But she's the one who I brought to the attention of the sacred geometry that I see, and I do believe that's because of the brain injuries. But it's this pattern. Here, I'll show you. Okay, so just a quick sketch of what it looks like, and then if you imagine this throughout all of your body, your organs, and everything else. Here's another view on like one of these little charts, and all these blue lines right here, these are the meridians that I'm talking about. So that pattern literally is everywhere, and it's literally our energetic connection to all things. All things, all the way up to heaven. Sun, moon, stars, rocks, trees, ground, each other. And we're all energetically connected. It's also why we can be telepathic. They want to tell you about all this stuff. This is for purely for entertainment purposes. Entertainment purposes. Entertainment purposes. It's funny because they're trying to come up with a chip they can put in your mind so that you can be telepathic. But what they won't tell you is that you already are. Okay, remember my accident? Remember how I know this? Remember when I told you about how I can look up on anybody that I want to look up on? I just have to imagine them there. That's why I'm the key. Remember the accident? Because I have access to this and access to waking you up. Are you awake? Subscribe. Have a great day. Talk to you later.